This is our third episode of hashtag RunTalk. That's TALK, talk.
RunTalk.
Yeah, we need Lindsay to say it. And tonight our guest is Andrea, who is an amazing, amazing person, and I cannot wait to dig into that. But I really want to tell you guys something. I think I do. What was I going to tell you? Oh, the story about my
About your what?
about my room that I'm in now. It's like we have a spare bedroom, and it used to be Maddox's bedroom, but we moved him upstairs when we moved Cameron out. And when that happened, I just moved all my clothes and shoes into the spare room, and we've been calling it like my TikTok room, my special room, because it's like a space for me to sit. Maddox was at a basketball practice one day, and he said to one of the dads, "Yeah, my mom makes a lot of TikToks in her special room." And I was like, no. Okay. And I had to actually explain to him, like, okay, I get like shoes and clothes. I like to show outfits I wear to work, makeup. Like, that's what he means. That's all he means here. But
Not
anyway,
not that other TikTok.
Yeah, no, not that. Nobody knows about that one.
Well, at least he did mention and specify TikTok and didn't just say that his mom makes special videos in her special room. That could be really bad.
How awful could that have been? Like, I mean, it was pretty bad still. Like, so now we call it the special room, and I'm adjusting because I haven't been in this room because it's been a hot mess. Like, I literally just throw everything everywhere. Finally cleaned, so there's that. That's technical difficulties. Okay, well, we're glad you're here. Join us, however. We'll be here for an hour. Andrea, give us just go with it. Like, what
I should
what do you
take
want
that
to tell
Jolly
us?
Rancher out of my mouth. What do you want to know?
Here, let's start
see.
with how long have you been running and what initially got you into running?
So I've been running, I think, like officially 3 years. I had just got out of prison, and we can go into that as well. But I took up hiking because I'm very fortunate to live in the Black Hills, and I wanted to take advantage of seeing every part that I had never seen before when I was using. And so we took up hiking, which led to trail running, which led to marathons, and now ultramarathons.
So let's go back because you just dropped the bomb, and I'm glad that you said your story. And like, that's one thing right off the bat I want to know the answer to is like, why running? And like, maybe give us some backstory. Like, what put you there in the first place?
So I grew up in just like a really dysfunctional, we moved around a lot. My mom was married a lot, and I don't want to give her story out here, but it was a lot. And it was traumatic. And some of those men weren't nice, and that led to addiction and alcoholism and so many other things down the road. And when I was 20, I met this incredible, beautiful, interesting boy from South Dakota. And he changed my whole world. And we have now 3 beautiful children, but we actually went through active addiction together, and now active recovery together. So it's been a journey. But I would say that because of the the essay and stuff like that, whenever I was younger, I was just trying to find myself. I wasn't sure. And we moved around so many times. I was always like the new girl, and unfortunately for a while, like kind of like a chameleon, just trying to figure out where I wanted to be. And it wasn't until just a few years ago that I actually figured that out. So who knew that that was going to take that long?
Me
But
too, friend. Me too. Do not feel like you're alone in that journey because I'm
right?
still not figured it out. I mean, I'm still like, who the frick am I? You know, like
Yeah, for sure. And especially now because I'm like an adult trying to like raise kids and I have no idea what the heck I'm doing, you know? Um and I know my kids are going to be in and out of here, but they they went through so much and I put them through so much. So I want to just go back that like my whole identity was that now I had these babies, right? And I didn't want to be my mom.
yeah.
So I was so focused on making sure like my marriage worked that I wasn't focused on what I was putting in my body. I was born with a heart condition, so I had some stuff going on and some scar tissue, and it was causing pain. And back in the early 2000s, they were handing out Oxycontin like it was nobody's business. And I unfortunately got wrapped up in that and an unlimited supply of it. They were definitely over medicating me. And then when the opiate crisis came, they cut everybody off. And sorry, but heroin's cheaper, man. Heroin's cheaper and it lasts 12 hours and I don't have to be sick in front of my kids. So that's what happened. And it just like rolled downhill, you know? And so then that led to some counterfeiting charges and some possession by ingestion because the great state of South Dakota, you don't have to have drugs on you. You only have to have them in your system.
Mm-hmm.
And it's possession either way. So I got 5 years and I did 2. Our children were taken away. And my husband did a lot of work in about 6 months and got them back. They had separated all 3 of them. So we had our 6-year-old at the time in Pierre. We had our 14-year-old and then our 16-year-old here in Rapid. But one was in a psychiatric hospital and one was with this great family. And he got really well taken care of. And now we're like trying to figure it all out together. We don't know what the hell we're doing, but we know we love each other and we know that we think each other, we're pretty funny, you know, and we can laugh about the really bad things that happened. But you know, that's where we're at now. So so like I said, it went into hiking and trail running and now I'm here with you guys.
I have to say that the fact that you 100% took full responsibility for the way that things happened in your life, and like I firmly believe that people who tend to take that responsibility are the people who are the ones that can actually come away and realize like, okay, I can change and I can change myself to be in a better space. And like I want to acknowledge that right off the bat because that's amazing. There are people who will never do that. And the fact that you have is absolutely mind-blowing. Like just mind-blowing.
Thank you. It feels mind-blowing. It doesn't feel, at times it's very surreal. Just like having, you guys saw my 14-year-old walk in and out earlier. For that to even happen is like, what the hell? I mean, is this like real life, right? Because statistically speaking, I'm supposed to be dead. Those kids are already supposed to be, not worth anything. And we're just supposed to continue that cycle, right? I mean, that's what's supposed to happen.
Well, you didn't just break it. You have shattered it. And I think I truly believe you're unstoppable. I already know you have a lot of big racing goals on your schedule, but I really think that you are unstoppable. I believe that with every ounce of my being. And it is an honor to know you and to finally get to meet you in real life this year.
I will say too that I am like I knew a good chunk of your story that you had kind of shared with us, but I didn't know like all of the specifics that you just kind of shared. And knowing that, and then knowing that like in April when we like where those 100 miles are going to come from for you. Um, I I have never struggled with addiction. I have struggled with it in the sense that my mother was caught up in the opioid crisis. Um, and we had some issues there, but again, that's her story. Um, and I do think that a lot of the fuel that I find on these long runs does come from very deep rooted things that I'm trying to like prove to myself
Mhm.
and trying to overcome. And hearing like this part of like your story and what brings you here and how far you've come, it just makes me so excited to run those 100 miles with you. Like I am like I know how big of a deal it is anyways, but like now like knowing this, I'm just like it gives me chills to just I cannot wait for you to do that.
I'm excited to run with you and Dan. Like it's well, I'm excited to see you. I mean, I get to run with you guys in like a couple of weeks,
Mhm.
so we're pretty excited about that. But yeah, my first 100-mile attempt, I mean, I don't know. Dan and I have talked about this, and I needed that. I'm glad I DNF, man. It was exactly what I needed. It made me more hungry. Um, it humbled me, and I don't aspire to be humble by any means, but it knocked me on on my ass.
I love
Um,
that. That should be a quote. I don't aspire to be humbled.
Yeah, I like it too.
well,
T-shirt.
yeah, there was a pretty famous lady that ran for president that said it. So
I love
I
that.
mean, yeah. Um, so yeah, I now if I don't get that buckle, I don't know what I'm gonna do,
We're
honestly.
getting the buckle. We're
I
getting the
know,
buckle. I
right?
refuse to this will be my first actual attempt, so I don't know. I'm nervous knowing that like you and Dan have attempts underneath your belt. So you kind of at least have I don't even have an attempt. My only attempt was taken away because of the hurricanes. I'm very nervous about that. The furthest I've ever gone is 56 miles one time in August, but I refuse to like not get that buckle. Like I'm getting the buckle.
Andrea,
Well,
do
and
you
that's
want to share a little bit about what race you guys are doing? Just
oh
for the
yeah,
people
for
that
sure.
have just jumped on.
Yeah, so Linz, Dan, and I are going to be running the Viper 100, which I just want to point out too that I haven't been in a lot of races. And what I have seen of this particular race director
Hmm.
is like, dude, if every race could be like this, I don't think that I don't know that I could ever say no to any race. I mean, he's been posting on Facebook and like it's just been nonstop and it
Have
like
you
makes
seen
you
the like
want it
bios he's
more.
done from people? Like when you log, like when you
Yes.
register, he goes in and finds like pictures of you on Facebook or Instagram and does his research on every single person and just he doesn't ask you. He does his research and he'll post a thing about this is so and so from so and so. She's run this many things. This is and it's like this whole bio about you that you're like, well, how did you find that out?
I know. And I saw that and dude, it's
Who
just
is
been
the guy? What's the
amazing.
guy's name? Do we know?
That's
Uh
a good question.
hold on, James Boland.
That's
And
it.
I'll tell you this too. I actually contacted him, gave him a little bit of my story because I'll be honest, race fees are really expensive. And if I can use my story to help one person and maybe get, a percentage off of my race fees, and so he gave me $100 off.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
What?
dude, that was like that right there was my catalyst of why I could even go. Because believe it or not, it was that $100 that I was like, I don't really know if we can do this, and just financially. But because he did that and an amazing guy that he was, I was able to sign up for that. So I was pretty grateful.
That's $1 a mile.
I know, right? Exactly. Now I got to pay him back now by running 100 miles.
I want to know one thing though, because we talked a little bit about how your progression, like you had this situation where you were an addict and then you went to prison, but you said you got out of prison and then became a runner. So what was it that said to you, I'm gonna run? Like what was it about running that is what was it that appealed to you about running itself, or like why was that the thing?
Because how hard could it be? I mean, that was my thinking.
Yeah.
How freaking hard could it be? My journey hasn't been a weight loss journey. Have I lost weight due to the fact that I've been running? Absolutely, 100%. But that just wasn't part of my journey.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you that being a woman in recovery, gaining weight is a huge bridge
Yeah.
to cross.
Okay.
And it happens for a lot of us, and for a lot of us, we go back out due to that. And I didn't want to be that person. I was already looking at myself in the mirror and not liking what I saw. So, I mean, I just didn't want an excuse to look in a mirror anymore. And I knew there was no mirrors out on the trail.
Oh, I like
out
that.
on the trail. Yeah. So I knew I was safe out there.
Isn't it funny though, because you know now that it's never about that. I mean, like right now, look at the shit you're doing. I mean, look at what you're about to attempt. And the weight is so far from your, I mean, you wouldn't even think about that at this current point, you know, because it isn't about that. It's literally about the fact that you're just like, this is the hardest thing ever. And I've done harder, but still, can I do it? You know, that to me is such a beautiful thing. Like the fact that you say it like that. And I mean, I get it, because obviously we're women. We all have that. Like it's put in your face 24/7 that you have to look a certain way or feel, you know, and obviously we've all heard, like, you know, you don't eat when you're doing drugs, and you know, different things happen to you. And like, so I just was curious, like, what made you decide, you know, like running over a different sport, or, you know, like running over, you know?
No, on it was just that. It was how hard could it be? I mean, I knew that I liked hiking. And again, because I live in the Black Hills, and I am lucky enough that even though I live in town, I live in Rapid City, the trails are less than a quarter of a mile from my house.
Okay.
So
That's so amazing.
so why not use the land that has helped heal me?
And it's
and
beautiful where you live. Like,
it's gorgeous.
Oh my gosh. Like you know, we went to Montana 2 years ago at this point, and we drove through. We stayed in Rapid City, and if I had known then what I know now, you would have been getting me knocking on your door, being like, "Hey, what's up?" But you know, like, things happen the way they do. But
anytime,
beautiful place.
Yeah.
Not anytime. Not right now when you have snow everywhere.
Well, I mean, actually today, what was it like? The high was like 38. It wasn't bad at all. But yeah, it's been a bit icy, and we've had a little bit of wind. I think Lauren got our ice just today, so that was nice.
Sure did.
Thank you. I'm glad you guys took that. We didn't want
I loved it. Andrea, can I ask a question that we've asked all of our guests so far? And that is, what is the best piece of running advice you've received? And if you need a minute to think about it or want to address it later, that's fine too.
And you can share who you got it from also.
Yes, and if you're willing.
Well, I know that Dan has been a popular one on everyone's. So I was trying to think, like, what would be one piece of advice?
Or we could even change it to what's advice you would give based off of your running experience, especially to maybe a newer runner.
Jackie, thank you so much. You guys, Jackie also was just Jackie Clark. If you ever get a chance to check her out, she was just in the chat. She's another recovering addict. She's another runner out of like Philly. Amazing woman. You guys should check her out. So she was just goodbye, Jackie. I hope you have a good night.
We will.
I would say Dan has always told me, you know, like that it's like go out and find yourself out there and breathe. I think we all, I'm very good at like beating myself up. So I really sometimes I don't need that from anyone else, because I am like A++ at it. So, I mean, I don't need help. Sometimes I need help loving myself and Dan did that, and you guys have done that. So I will share that.
You don't make it hard to do. I'll tell you that. You don't make it hard to do because you are just.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't ever say things lightly. I don't sit and just like try to puff you up. I mean it. There's something just so amazing about you, and I will do anything in my power to make you see it. Really, like. The fact that every single time I had a run and I would tell you guys about it, Andrea would text me like the day before and say, "Have you guys run today?" And I'd say, "Oh, it's tomorrow, but look at how you're early." I mean, she was thinking about me ahead of time every single time.
I'm always
but that's amazing. That's an amazing, beautiful thing, and I'm grateful to know who you are. That's it. I mean, I am just so grateful.
Thank you. That's the ADD. either I'm early or I'm late. I mean, I'm never gonna be on time. Just so you guys, I mean, I'm gonna be one of those things. Also, I am not. Yes, exactly. I just really want to be one of those like organized girlies. I'm not
either. So
it's okay. I'm an organized girly, and I can confirm it's overrated. It's very stressful, and it consumes you. So,
wait, we need you. If we don't have you, then we're all lost.
Yeah. No, and I have one of those. My lasher, who's I just tell her where I need to be, and she just makes sure exactly where she was my 100-mile crew chief, and amazing. I knew exactly, she knew how many calories. I mean, like, I'm really worried about Memphis, actually, because I don't know how I'm supposed to, like, do all that math. I can't do runner math. Are you kidding? I used to shoot up heroin. No way.
You have to know how to do some math if you did heroin.
I know. I was just thinking that, like, don't you measure out milliliters or something? Like, something?
I mean, I don't know what kind of measuring you guys look at it. You just put it in. So
it's not like nursing where you actually know the milligrams and the dosing.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's how black it is. That's exactly what you want to know.
I'm sorry. It's not funny. I mean,
no, it's not funny, but it is funny.
No, you have to be able to joke about the things you've been through. Otherwise, you'll never get through it. You know, like
exactly. Yeah,
well, I think at the end of the day, life shouldn't be that. Like, you need to learn from things, of course, and things maybe aren't the right choices. But like at the end of the day, you can't live your life being angry at the person you were. You can't carry that kind of energy with the person you want to become. So at some point, you have to let go of things from your past and accept that those happened, learn from them, and move on. And I think you've done a beautiful job of doing just that. And I'm glad that you smile and laugh about these things and be willing to share, because again, not everybody necessarily relates to the exact scenario of your story, but I think every single person can relate to overcoming something in their past that maybe they weren't the most proud of, or a mistake that they made, and making the most of your future self. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. You know, it's easy to take responsibility when you have such a support system, because, and I think that's important with anyone in recovery, whether, you know, for anything, the support that Francis and I have, because I got clean with my husband, and we are the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
And I want to make that very clear, because I think people see our story and find hope that a couple in addiction can make it through. You don't want to. It is hard enough trying to get yourself clean and having to worry about, and Francis and I got clean separate because he was here, you know, trying to get the kids back, and I was in prison. So we literally had 18 months under our belts before we even came together, before we even saw each other. We had been separated for almost 2 years.
And that honestly could have been the entire reason that you were able to continue to make it work with each other. I mean, really,
yeah.
separation of being able to say, okay, I have to fix myself. I can't worry about anyone else. And that is such an important key to being able to fix yourself, like, is to only have a streamlined focus on what you're doing at, I mean, they talk a lot about that. I know, Linz, you had said that your mom had struggled. My stepdad actually passed away from an addiction. And so I firsthand too, like my entire life, it's been around me, and it's so hard to watch because you can't do anything. It's like anything in life. You cannot force people to change if they don't want to change. You just can't do it.
Right.
The only person that can do that for you is yourself. And I have experience with that. Lindsay has experience with that. Lauren, there's things that I know that, the same thing. If everyone can relate to that in some way, shape, or form, or something you need to fix. And I mean, it's hard enough to do that for yourself, but the fact that you were able to do that and then be able to come back, I'm sure, stronger. I mean, the two of you have to be able to rely on each other at this current point to say, like, hey, this is a struggle. Like, what do we do to get through it? I mean, that has to help.
Yeah. And we also had to make the decision too that, because we had got clean before, and then we relapsed. And so then you have to come to the realization, like, hey man, if you go back out, like, I can't. And I know that if I go back out, I'm dead. I've already done the jails. I don't do, like, I don't want to bash like recovery rooms or anything like that, because I think those are great programs. My recovery is trail running. So I know what my program is, so, but I've done the jails, institutions. Next thing is death. And I've been there. I've knocked on death's door. I don't know how many times. Francis has too. There's been so many times that we, we're just really close with our children in the house, guys. And so, I mean, I'm shameful of that, but I can't let it like ruin me. My kids are amazing, man. They've been through a lot. Like, I wish that you could meet my kids because they're incredible.
I can only imagine.
Man, they're really cool.
I didn't realize you had 3 of them. I only thought you had 2. I didn't realize you had 3 kids.
I do. I have 3. I have a 24-year-old daughter, which, and our first grandchild was just, well, she's a year and a half. And then we have a 21-year-old, and then we have a 14-year-old.
I guess it was the 21-year-old I didn't know about. I guess I wasn't putting it all together.
I think the middle child always says that, right?
Poor middle child.
No one ever knows about me.
Hey, Andrea, there was a really good question from Ashley in the comments, and she's asking, is the whole family on board with a fit and active lifestyle?
Oh, great question. So, my Francis and I run together a lot, actually. He's usually like my number one training partner. He is training for his first 50K. He's actually running that with me and Linz and Dan at the end of the month. And well, the thing was though, that we were always kind of an outdoorsy family anyway. Even during active addiction, we still went fishing and camping, not a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, but we still did those things. So I think that when we got sober, and I want to be transparent, guys, I am California sober. That is just, I don't need to apologize or explain that to anyone. It's just who I am. So, but when you decide to do that, and you want to bring, I think it's important to bring your family along we just found something that we all enjoy. Yeah. So it was just a natural progression for us. That's all. But I mean, you could go like,
is Francis training to do any? Does he want to do any more? Like, I know you said you're like training partner and he's doing the 50K with us at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Does he have goals like bigger, like 100-miler or anything like that he's looking into doing?
He says that's gross.
We can revisit this in a year from now. I would
Right,
be
right.
surprised if
This is
he
my
changes
kind of
his
guy.
mind.
Him and I'll hang out and give you guys peanut butter
Wait, so
M&Ms
have you
run by.
prepared him then? Is he prepared for what he's doing at the end of this month? Does he know? What did you tell him?
I told him we were going for a hike. I
Okay.
mean, what was I supposed to say?
A 35-mile hike
With
With
lots of running.
4,500
What could go
feet
wrong?
of gain.
with
What could go
4,500 feet
wrong?
of gain.
Communication.
And that gain is only in like the 20 miles. It's like in 20 miles is where all the gain is.
Oh, that's it?
And that's it.
They'll be
It's not
fine.
bad.
They train in the Black Hills. No big deal.
I know that, honestly, gain is gain. I don't care where you're at, man. When
But
you're
you train,
climbing,
what's
you're
your elevation that like you're because that is sea level down here. What is Black Hills?
I think in Rapid City we're just at like 35, but when we go to Hill City, which is just 20 minutes up the road, we're at 5,300.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. So this is gonna be a breeze. Like you're literally gonna be running at like 900.
900, but you have humidity. Tabitha, I see. I'll come back to you in a sec.
Yes,
But is it going to be hot?
I don't know because February, the end of February is so in Georgia it can be 65, 7. I mean it was 73 the other day. Or it can be rainy and like 55. I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Lauren, is the FOMO kicking in? Because you and I are both sitting here like.
It hasn't just kicked in. It's been.
I know. I wish I were coming.
I know. I wish you guys were coming. Tabitha asked, "What is my favorite trail here in the Black Hills?" I have so many. I personally, just because I think it's hilarious. We have a big tourist. There's a lot of tourists here because, Black Hills and whatnot. So anytime you're running on any of the popular trails, you always get like, look at those crazy ass people or something it's always something funny. So I always think like anything where there's a lot of people, so like Black Elk, which is like takes you to the tallest peak in the Black Hills, which is actually the tallest east of the Rockies, is right here in the Black Hills.
Wow.
It's Black Elk Peak and it's beautiful up there. But gosh, I would say Black Elk probably definitely is my favorite.
I gotta make it
There's
out
a lot
there
of gain on that
at
one.
some point. I need to come out there.
Heck yeah, you do.
Your videos always just look so amazing.
Year round.
It's easy to do. It's easy to do here, guys.
When is the best time? Like, when do you feel is the prime time for us to come and visit?
Anytime. I mean, if you're a fair weather runner, I would say June is usually pretty good here. The great thing about the Black Hills is that if you don't like the weather, give it 15 minutes. It will change.
It is so pretty there. I mean, it's just funny. It's funny. Like, I keep telling my husband, I'm like, we should go and make our vacation be there. I mean, we did. We made a 2-day pit stop and we went to Mount Rushmore and did all the things. But like, it was really, that was the extent of it. And then we kept going. And then on our way home, we stayed at like a hotel in Rapid City so that we can make the rest of the trip because it's a long drive to. But that, I mean, I was just amazed by how pretty it is. Like, even just driving through it.
Flowers
Yeah,
be
it's gorgeous.
popping.
Yeah, they definitely be popping. Leah, she said she's going to be here in June. It's a gorgeous area. Also, the Badlands, absolutely one of my favorite places to run. It's like running on Mars out there. We also have, what was that?
It is so crazy what it looks like. I mean, it's just such all of a sudden you're like, what? There's nothing. It's just like all these weird looking hills. Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's really, it's so diverse because we have the prairie, we have the Black Hills, we have the Badlands, and it's like, and it's just such a beautiful area that I continue to be grateful every single day that I step outside.
Love that. I love that.
Thank you.
There was another good question for you, Andrea.
Oh, yeah.
If you are a beginner, where would you start?
I would put on your whatever kind of runners you have. I don't care if they're Nike basketball shoes or they're Squeechers because you can't afford Skechers. I don't care what they are. Put them on your feet and go outside. That's it.
Yep, just move.
Yeah, and when I decided that I was a runner, I wasn't even a runner yet, you guys. I just got out of prison and I needed something to like remind me that, because I didn't want to go back. That's been like one of my biggest fears is that I'll as long as I just don't go back. So I got a tattoo on my arm, and it's the best piece of advice I could ever give anyone. And I get to see it every single day. And that's left foot, right foot, breathe, repeat. And that's it.
I love it.
that.
I do too. I love that. I love that so much. Well, I was going to ask about food.
Oh.
You just said like the most sentimental thing ever, and here I am about food.
I love food. Let's talk about food.
I want to know what you use to fuel for your runs, because I know what these two use. You know, I know what Lindsay does. I know what Lauren does. What do you do when you're out on the trail and you talked a little bit about calories earlier. I'm assuming you have a plan, so let's hear it.
I binge eat before I go out. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. I'm probably not the best person. I don't want to be dishonest. I do like Oreo cookies, Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts again.
Oh man, I am a sucker for JoJo potatoes. If you've ever like,
Don't
it's
know what
just
that
fried
is.
potatoes. They're just fried potatoes
like
that they sell like the gas
potatoes.
station. That's all they are. And I just put a little ketchup on it. Those are like, I do love potatoes. During my 100-miler, I'm also a broke ass bitch, so I had to make all of my own nutrition. So I made like this pasta that it's like my comfort food, and all it is like pesto and some tomatoes and like rigatoni pasta, and that's it, and some like pasta water, and that is what I ate. And then
can I just really quickly say, like, as a registered dietitian, I am impressed and proud of you, and thank you for sharing all this, because so often in the running community, you hear things that like you can only fuel with certain things, or you should.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, you need to find what works best for you. And when you're running distances like 50 miles, 100 miles, your body just needs calories. The body does not care if it's coming from Pop-Tarts, pasta, or a perfected running gel. Like, the body doesn't care. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, there's benefits and things with certain things at certain times, especially if you're deficient in something. But at the end of the day, you have practiced with what works for you. And I think more people, especially if they want to get into ultra running, need to know that, like, it's okay to eat foods that are traditionally viewed as unhealthy, because that's what your body needs. They need quick carbs. You need sodium. So A+. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Yeah. And I mean, applesauce mixed with protein powder. I mean, it's like you start to think about the cheapest, most direct route. I happen to have digestional issues, so I have like Crohn's disease, basically. Okay. I mean, not basically, but that is what I have. So I there's only certain foods that I know that work well with me. Otherwise, I tear everything up, and then it's just like a big problem. And then I have to, right, exactly. No one wants to be going to the bathroom all the time. That ain't no fun for nobody. So I found the things that worked, and I'm also a creature of habit. So I mean, I love change, but once I find something that works for me, then then I know the big nerds, the ones with the hard
I just
like
had
shell
those
on
for the
it.
first time. Those are good.
Yes, I love those ones.
Yeah.
But then there are some runs I don't want anything sweet. I don't want one thing sweet. I want a cheeseburger and fries.
Before
So
or
that's what I
during?
during.
Okay. You guys
I
blow me away with this. You know that. Like I'm sitting here like what the freaking heck? I'm sitting here like I afterwards I get it, but during I'm like, how am I supposed to maintain this?
Don't knock it till you
well,
try it. Don't knock
I
it.
also, I ate in prison for 2 years, so I am not opposed to cold, yucky food. I mean, as long as the calories are going in, I don't care what the heck.
That reminds me of something else that Dan always says, like everything is like ultra training, you know?
Yeah.
You've been training for 100 milers since you were in prison. You just didn't know it.
Oh no, I knew it. Believe me, I slept the whole month of July getting ready for this dang thing. That's for sure.
I'm gonna scroll through and see what we have.
Yeah, Kelby
Speaking
has
of
a
a
good question.
interesting recipe combination, this is kind of a little sidetrack, but you were talking about
Oh, yeah.
the applesauce and the protein powder. So when my son was in one of his trips, I guess it was Hawaii, he was like on a very strict budget and didn't have hardly any money. He was trying to stay like in his budget. So he mixed tuna, like packaged tuna with peanut butter and
Okay.
ate it that way.
What?
Yep, just to get the protein in. I was like, why? But why mix it?
Inexpensive.
Why couldn't you just eat the tuna and then
Tuna
eat
and then
peanut
eat
butter?
butter.
Why did you have to mix it? But he did. He mixed it and ate it that way.
I'm gonna make some
Yeah, it
prison
makes for a great
burritos.
story.
Kelby says, what the actual F? My sentiments exactly.
I mean, was it to prove a point? I mean, what was it? I mean, like,
He's
is he like,
19.
I
I don't
this?
know.
Now
he-
I want you to
okay.
try
He
it,
sent me a
Lindsay.
picture of it, and I was like, "Bleh."
Yeah.
Huh?
Now I want you to try it.
I'm not trying it. I don't even like tuna. I'm not trying
Come on,
that.
that would be a really fun video.
Tuna. Okay, wait, what was it again? Tuna and what?
Tuna and peanut butter.
Okay, if Linz films it, I'll do it.
This is gonna
All
turn
right.
into a trend.
That's what.
Oh.
Listen, that's what we're gonna have at our aid station at the end of February. I'm gonna have Doug standing out there with tuna and peanut butter.
Okay.
And it's gonna go like this.
Yeah.
Like, who beat
Calories
the
are calories.
tuna?
Calories. The body doesn't care.
No.
The tongue does.
No.
The tongue cares.
Right.
Oh man.
I bet it depends on how much peanut butter. I mean, what's the ratio? Are we doing 50-50?
I mean, he had it like mixed up in a bowl, like it was a casserole.
Bro, I think
Okay,
he's got a
good.
little bit on me.
I straight
Yeah.
up, I
I'm
could
trying
say
really
We'll
hard
try
not
it.
to
We'll
learn
try it.
about
Why not?
this right now, but I just nope.
Dude,
Joey will
I used
be
to
there.
take
He can make
random
it for
pills
us.
from people in a random bar. I can handle some tuna fish and peanut butter, I think.
Joey can make it for us. He'll be there. He said he's going to help with the aid station, so he can be there and
Nice.
make it for us.
Nice.
Tuna and peanut butter together. I mean, maybe it wouldn't be as awful as I'm sitting here making it out to be in my head. Not crunchy peanut
I
butter.
just don't understand why he had to mix it. Why not just eat the
Yeah,
tuna
I'm
and
not
then eat
sure
the
either.
peanut
No,
butter?
because
Why?
peanut butter is very, very well
Uncrustables.
taken just on a spoon, right? Like, I mean,
Right.
put that spoon in there and eat it up. Like, but hey, whatever you got to do. I mean,
But I don't know, she was talking about that, and it reminded me of him telling me that that was something he ate, was he mixed the tuna and the peanut butter.
That's weird. We'll have to try it. I mean, maybe, what if that's like the secret sauce, guys?
Maybe that's it.
yeah, I mean,
We
really,
just figured it out.
what if it is good and we're all sitting here like, it just doesn't sound right?
You should never yuck anyone's yum. See? This is exactly why.
Peanut
I
butter
had a
and
colleague
butter
who used to
butter
make-
and applesauce. That would be great, Tabitha.
I had a colleague who used to make peanut butter and ham sandwiches. Not joking, and that was one of her staples. So
Man,
How
oh,
did you even just
so
come
I
up
can
with
sit
that?
and argue the whole cinnamon roll and chili thing. You know, everybody's like shook about that.
Yum.
Wait,
Yes.
what?
Well,
Is
it's a
that that's a
Midwest
Midwest thing, though?
It is a Midwest thing, but we
Mhm.
have we eat chili and you dip a cinnamon roll in it. Like that's how we
Mhm.
eat chili. Like you cannot have chili here without cinnamon rolls. Lauren,
No,
Lauren,
you eat cornbread with chili.
that too is good.
That's what my husband would tell you to also is cornbread, but not we don't do that at my house. We
A
have
I
cinnamon
think you
roll
should-
with chili. That's
Yeah, I think you should try it,
disgusting.
man.
oh,
No,
look at
man.
all of the combos in the comments
so
here.
good. Oh, frosty and
Spaghetti
fries.
burrito.
He
Yeah.
just gets it. Jess
Oh,
is Southern.
frosty
She
and
gets it.
fries. Oh my god.
Oh no, that was my
Oh.
number one pregnancy craving was the
Mhm.
French fries and a frosty. Oh, yeah.
Kelby, you say
cornbread over cinnamon roll. Get out of here, Kelby.
hi.
No, he's right. He's right.
Oh, and Jess comes back and she's trying to rewrite us. She says, "Y'all breakfast." Oh, Casey's. Yep, she's not wrong there.
Oh my gosh!
Casey's
So this
breakfast
is
pizza.
no, I cannot believe that you guys liked it as much as you did.
I did.
I find that
but I didn't even have it
fascinating.
in Iowa. It wasn't until I went for Jen's marathon that I finally got to try it, and I actually really liked it.
I love it.
Was it fresh?
Yeah, I felt like it was pretty fresh. It was good. Yeah.
And we stopped at nice Casey's too.
Oh, well then that was the key right there. You got to try the really, really crappy Casey ones to really get the like actual taste. You can't stop. You can't stop by you can't stop at the nice Casey's. You got to go into the hood to go get
like a small town Casey's. Like that's the
small town
out there, and then let us know. But I love Casey's pizza, so.
Jen, can you speak to what Casey's is? Ashley is wondering what it is, and I feel like since you live there,
Casey's as in the gas station,
and in the Midwest, I believe they've kind of just gotten a massive following. More, just like we have them in South Dakota, right?
We have them by near my house.
we have them
They're
here.
not
There's
in
one in Hill
Georgia.
City.
Yeah,
there's not one down here.
Nope, they're not south. I mean, I would say that the farthest south probably would be like Kansas City, maybe. Like I mean, I don't think they're all that common down there. Even I think more.
Doug says that the chicken sandwich is better than Chick-fil-A's.
Where at Casey's? No way,
bro. No.
I'm sorry.
No. I don't like anything else at Casey's that they make other than the Casey's pizza.
I don't know. And those chicken sandwiches, are you kidding me? Definitely not Casey's, that's for sure.
I will say my go-to breakfast for like a long run is a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit. I want one every time I do like a long race. Chicken biscuit.
Nothing tops that bigoted hate. Yep,
I know,
I love
and
it, man.
I
It's so
really wish
good.
I could just not eat it because of all of that, and they rope me in every time. And as
Oh,
I'm
it
eating
tastes so good.
As I'm eating it, I'm thinking this is so counterproductive.
Actually, that's funny. You say Ashley's town is just about to open their first Chick-fil-A. I will tell you guys that our town last week just opened Chick-fil-A, and it was a madhouse. Like they have.
Y'all didn't have a Chick-fil-A?
Yes, we finally got a.
We don't have a Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
We ate there on the opening day because Maddox was
There's
what
a
did you
Chick-fil-A
think?
on every block here.
Nope. We're lucky we got
three
one
in my city.
We're lucky that we have really. I mean, this is a pretty big deal for us.
We don't have a Chick-fil-A or what's the other one? Like White Castle? We don't have that either.
Nope, we don't have.
I don't think we have a White
We have
Castle.
Culver's, which is
I've only
We have
had
a
White
Culver's.
Castle like 3 times, I think, in my life. Same with Chick-fil-A, honestly. And White Castle is not worth it. It's just not good.
I've never had it, so
I
and I've
wouldn't
never had
seek it out.
Chipotle.
Yeah, we are the home of
Chipotle's good,
Chick-fil-A,
but I would
right? That's why
not
we
seek
have
out
so
White
many.
Castle.
Okay, so no White Castle. Got it.
No, it would probably
Sticks
be
is
upsetting
better.
to your stomach anyway. It doesn't settle well with most people. It's so greasy.
What is
You
White
know, I
Castle?
like
Is it
a
like
good
Crispy?
challenge.
It's like a super greasy, gross burgers with like onions all over them. They're just not good.
No.
And they're like sliders. They're itty bitty.
And there's a movie called
Okay.
Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Which is a classic, Jen.
Rob, I did say sliders. Rob is already correcting me in the comments.
Or our producers making sure that we get our facts straight. If we talk about restaurants, I don't know. The one I've been to that's more down south is Whataburger, which they do have in Kansas City now, thanks to Patrick Mahomes, but that's a Texas thing.
You know what? It's funny because I lived in Oklahoma, Texas, Alabama. Then we moved to California. Now I live in South Dakota. At one time, I lived in Colorado. But Whataburger was like one of my best childhood memories because they were everywhere. I mean, especially in Texas and Oklahoma, they were everywhere. I didn't even know that I didn't even know that you guys had burger joints besides Whataburger. I had no idea.
Jeff also wants me to ask you guys about Allsups, the gas station. Do you guys have those? Which is
Allsups.
Never heard of that.
one.
No.
And they make burritos that are like gas station burritos. And every time we would roll into Texas, we'd have to stop at the gas station that literally had the key with hanging, like you get in the bathroom, the key hanging on the
the big old stick.
Yeah, or something, you know. Nobody
yes.
rip off the key to the bathroom. That kind of place is where we're stopping here. And he goes in and gets the gas station burrito that's probably been sitting there for at least 17 hours.
It's like the Friendly Gus. Where I grew up, we had a gas station that was called the Friendly Gus. And you could go in the morning and get you a breakfast sandwich and some tater logs.
That's like a JoJo potato, the tater logs. Same thing. Yeah, those things, they're legit.
You got to go to the Friendly Gus.
Oh, yep. Come and go gas station. We used to have those.
Come and goes are here. I can't get away from those. Oh, Bucky. We call those bussies. In our family, we call those bussies.
The bussies.
It's the bussies.
Funny. Okay, so what's on the agenda for like what point are you at for training for this big race? I mean, okay, wait. So first you're going to Georgia, and then you guys are doing your 100, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's the timeline?
So on the 28th of this month, we will be running a 50K. So we're using that as a last hoorah, basically. I mean, I think each of us have our, I think we start to taper down after that, actually. Yeah. I think there might be one more.
It's 35 miles. So it's a little bit more than a 50K, and there's a decent amount of climbing in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I did this one last year, it was 31 miles, and it took me 9.5 hours to do. So this is going to be a solid, probably 10, 11, maybe even 12 hours of time on the feet. Mm-hmm. Out there. And because it's a single loop, like the whole thing, it's really good practice on fueling, because you pretty much have to carry what you can eat on you until the few times that we will kind of cross over the road and see civilization. So the plan is this really is like the last practice run for the 100, because the 100 is a 33-mile loop that we will run 3 times.
Wow. Yeah. And Dan, and I don't know if you and Dan have talked about, I mean, I feel pretty confident, and I don't want to sound braggy, but I feel confident about the first 2 loops. I know my body, and that's when I did, because when I DNF'd my 100, I immediately jumped in to a 50 miler, on a sprained ankle, because in my mind, I had trained for this huge thing and I didn't finish it. And I don't get like that runner high, or, I don't get that serotonin drop anytime you like do a good job. My good job is like, I need to know that I can finish this. There was a time that I was like out in whiteout conditions trying to find drugs. And if I can do that, then I can do this 100 miles, right? And so that's kind of where I was whenever that I DNF'd. And so I jumped into this 50, and I almost felt like I cheated myself, because I knew I had 50 in me. So the first 2 loops, I'm feeling pretty confident about, but it's that last one, man, that I feel like it's going to be life-changing.
I feel like for me, so like I said, I haven't gone further than 56 miles. I have done a crap ton of 50Ks over the last, just stacking. So I know I can do like running on tired legs, and I work night shift and I sleep like 4 hours between shifts. And I really try to hone in on that's going to really come in handy on that 3rd loop when I'm really exhausted. I am worried about my nutrition. That is honestly what I'm the most worried about, is in that 3rd loop, being able to keep up and eat, because that's the one thing that I'm afraid that will take me out, is if I get behind and you can't catch back up. That's what I'm ultimately the most worried about, is my nutrition.
I think that's a valid concern. I think that should be anyone's concern when they're running long distances. When I did my 50 miler, because of that 100 miler, I had already got down that, like, the applesauce and protein powder mix. Like I had all of these like new tools in my tool belt. And I saw earlier Tabitha had asked about electrolytes. I'm a tailwind girly.
Same.
Everything is tailwind. I want to try all these ones that you guys keep talking about, like the drip drop. I've never heard of that.
That's a Jen special.
I say do what you like. I mean, it's really funny. I'm actually drinking one of those right now because I wanted something to drink, but I wanted not to have caffeine in it because I want to go to bed tonight. But I think if that works for you, that's what you got to stick to. You know what works for you. At the end of the day, like don't fix something that's not broken. Do what you need to do to get yourself to the place that you're going. Like,
love you, Kelbs. Yeah, for sure.
Hi, Kelby.
And I think, I don't know what the nutrition count on that drip drop or what. I haven't even tried. Again, because I'm a creature of habit, and once I know that what works for my system in particular, I really have to kind of stick with it. So I haven't really. I'd love to maybe branch out and try some different ones, but I haven't had.
I'll bring some extras with me, and you can sample them all. I have all the flavors. Here's what I'll do. I'll bring all the flavors that I don't really like and give them to you guys.
But for people watching, one thing about Tailwind that's a little different than most electrolyte mixes that are on the market, and at least the really popular ones, is that Tailwind has a lot of sugar and calories, which honestly, I'm actually surprised more runners don't use it, especially in the marathon distance and higher, if you can tolerate it, because it's basically, if you're carrying that in a water bottle or something, it basically eliminates the need for something like a gel. And so a lot of those electrolyte mixes are purely providing electrolytes without the calories. So, it's funny that so many people are like, I don't want the calories, but again, in the distance running game, like calories are going to be your friend. So that's why I personally am a big fan of Tailwind, is because it's giving you both. And I think it tastes great. It like doesn't taste overly sweet for what it is, for as much sugar as it provides and carbs. Yeah. So I've been a huge fan of Tailwind.
I feel like too, if you sip it along, like as you're going the entire time, it keeps your stomach occupied. It gives it like something to do. So you don't have that like up down feeling of like, oh my God, I'm starving. Let me eat something. And now my stomach is upset, because it kind of keeps it at a steady. I've never had like runner's gut on the days that I've used Tailwind. I usually get like an upset stomach on the runs that I don't use Tailwind. And I'm like hungry and then eating, and then I run and then I'm hungry and then I'm eating, versus just continuously kind of sipping on the Tailwind along the way. My stomach usually does better because it's kind of like constantly has something to be doing.
Yeah. I don't feel like, I don't have enough like under my belt in order for me to feel like this one works better for me than that one does. It was kind of just I like the flavor of this, so that's kind of why I went with it. I don't really know. I never really like did the observation of whether or not like whatever was happening internally was that, or so it's kind of like I just like it, so I just drink it.
So my first ultra, I was completely out of my element. I was just beginning trail running. I'd never even done a trail race before, and I went from running marathons to I'm going to do this 50-mile trail race, and I was clueless. And it was a 5-mile, well, it's more like a figure 8, but it was like 5 miles until you hit 50 miles, and the aid station was in the center. And I remember trying to run this entire race I had water in my vest, and then every single time I'd come in, I'd refill it with like Propel and then water, and then Propel and water. And my hands were so swollen by the end of it. My electrolytes were so jacked up. And I was watching these other runners who are a lot more experienced eating things like the barbecue sandwiches and the chicken quesadillas. And I was like, I cannot do that. How are you doing that? There's no way I can eat a barbecue sandwich and then keep running. Or they were chugging ginger ale or Coca-Cola, and it just blew my mind. I was like, nope, I'm going to do my water. Yeah. I'm going to do my Propel, and I'm going to eat my PB&J sandwich bites and just keep going. And it was like mile 40, I finally conceded. I finally was like, you know what? Give me the barbecue sandwich. Let me see. What's the worst that could happen? I throw up. I'm like almost at the end. I ate the barbecue sandwich, and it was like jet fuel, and something clicked that I was like, no, you really have to eat on these things, don't you? And I've
Yeah.
never looked back.
No.
Like there really is, your body really wants food.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? And
Yeah.
isn't it amazing like and it's in that moment that it's like you can literally feel your tank
Yes.
fill.
Yes.
And
It's
you're
like all of
like,
a
all
sudden you're
right,
like, oh,
let's go.
you're like
Yeah.
dragging, running like a 17, 18-minute mile, and you eat something, and all of a sudden you're like, where did that 12-minute mile just
Yeah.
come from? And it's like, oh, I
So
ate.
yes, and I'm just so you guys know, I am a slow runner.
I'm a slow trail runner. I am I'm a slow road runner too, but
Yeah. I mean, I just don't have I look at Lauren's times and I'm like,
We all do.
Lauren,
Every one of us
Bob,
does that.
Sam,
just want to like, oh
no.
Then you
my
look at Rob's
goodness.
time and you're like,
I
what
know.
am I doing?
Exactly. So, and I'll just throw it. I am incredibly blown away by my personal group of friends is amazing. And I know that there are so many amazing runners out there, but we have some incredible fast, like insanely fast runners in our small bubble. And I don't know how you guys do it. Like
No, I
I'm
cannot. Like I celebrate a 9-minute mile. I'm like, yes,
bro.
but I can't do it more than like for 1 mile, maybe two.
Same.
But so whenever like I see these like 7-minute miles, I'm like, oh, incredible.
I sit
I
here.
did that once downhill.
I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I'm so fast. I just made an 11-minute mile.
Yeah.
Dude, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no. Yeah,
What is
Lauren
that
is
for
is
me?
everyone's superhero. Ashley,
Oh,
Lauren is a
stop.
super.
Yes.
No, seriously, you are one of my personal, inspirational running. I wish that I could be a fast runner.
Yeah, never.
When you think of community and knowledge, that Lauren's the first person that pops into your head.
Oh, absolutely, 100%,
I
100%.
truly feel the same of all of you ladies, and of so
Oh.
many of fellow run talkers as well.
You know, it's so funny because we say this to each other all the time, and it's like the most genuine thing. So like we say it, and people are probably like, "Oh, they probably don't even really believe that," but it is the truth. Like I say it to you when I'm just talking to you. I text it to you. I'm so blown away by you women, and last year wrote on my list that I want to meet people who inspire me, and this is honestly like my dream that I'm in a group of people that are so supportive and we just are clapping for each other left and right, and it's the best feeling in the whole wide world, honestly. Like I'm just, my cup is so full from this group, like no joke.
Same. Yeah, you guys kept me alive, like literally. And so that's definitely great. And it's because of TikTok, right? Because I had no idea. I think Linz was like the first person that I followed. And then it was like Dan, and then it kind of trickled down because I was supposed to do Relay Iowa last year. And my husband's sister decided to get married on that same day. It was so rude. And we're like, what the heck, dude? So I mean, and I was grateful that I got even I don't even know how I got included in with you ladies, honestly. I still have no idea.
Well, because you're you, and
Ugh.
we only hang out with cool people.
You have no idea what you're in for, that's for sure.
Oh God, I love this. Well, you
I
guys,
have a pretty good idea, and that's why I'm excited.
It's about to get crazy, that's for sure. You want
those
to
men better just watch out.
I saw Doug was like 12 hours. That's a long time. I'm gonna be so bored, and I'm thinking, well, put on some trail shoes and come run with us. You won't be bored.
Exactly. You won't be bored at all.
I
12
can't
hours
even-
on the trail, wouldn't that be I can't wait.
I know.
Oh,
I'm
Sam,
so
you're one of the cool kids. You know it.
That guy, Sam. Who's Sam?
Yeah. Oh my.
Sam who?
Oh my gosh. Well, you guys, it is time. It is time for us to be done for this week.
Time.
Sad, but
Aw.
Andrea,
Thank you guys
so much for your time and coming on.
Yep.
And sharing
Thank
your
you
story.
guys.
You are like such an inspiration, and not just to the running community. You really are a shining light to people who may be in the same boat that you were in a few years ago. I think it's really important that you're sharing your story because you are like a symbol of hope for people who may not feel like they can get out of a situation. And then like look at you doing the thing. I mean, you've turned your life completely around 180. You know, you're living, you're truly living now. And that's what people need to see when they're kind of stuck in the trenches. I know you know that, but I think it's incredible that you're being brave enough to like share your story and own your story and not necessarily like celebrate your story, but like celebrate where you are. And I think it's incredible. It's admirable, honestly.
It is.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm still blown away that I'm even included in that. Thank you guys for having me on today, because it truly is like watching your family, your group succeed and do something that they love, and you guys are doing amazing at this. I can't wait to see more. I've already liked and shared in everything I can because I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love it. Okay,
Thank you to everyone who hopped on and watched.
Yes.
We appreciate you
Yeah,
guys.
thank you guys.
And we look forward to featuring many, many more of you.
yes. We should give you a little rundown that in 9 minutes, our episode with Dan England will drop on YouTube and it is available on Spotify. This episode will be available next week after we have our next fun little episode. So stay tuned. We'll make sure that we put more information out about that as soon as we are able to. And you can catch us on Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And here, of course.
I'm so proud of you guys. Amazing.
All right.
Proud of us
Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night. Bye guys.